Welcome to the Knowledge for Men show. Your life will never be the same.
Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development.
I want to die empty of regret. I want to die empty of my best work. We don't understand who we are. Instead, we're living out somebody else's narrative.
What one man can do, another man can do. If it's been done, it can be done again.
Being yourself and being your truest, most authentic self in every moment. If it scares you or makes you a little afraid, do it. Follow your heart and your gut.
The first stage, I think, is finding you, like finding out who I am today.
Stuff will not work. You will have things that fail. Success is when you're a happy, fulfilled person. How do you define success?
It's your life, and you are the creator of the movie script that is your life story.
Attention, if you are a frustrated man who feels like he is not getting the results he wants in his life, health, wealth, relationships, and personal growth, then I've got a powerful free video training for you to help you become a strong, grounded man so you can unlock unlimited power in your life, business, and relationships. Go to kfmconfidence.com to get instant access to this training. Again, that's kfmconfidence.com. If you want a Cliff Notes version of the best material that I've learned after 300 interviews on this podcast about being a stronger, more powerful man, then it's all here at kfmconfidence.com. All right, guys, welcome to the show. I'm here with celebrity personal trainer and nutritionist Brandon Carter. He's also a fitness model for Nike, Puma, Adidas, Men's Health, and he's also the CEO of Bro Laboratories. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Oh, what's going on, man? It's great to be here. I'm really excited.
All right, Brandon. So we start off every show with a favorite success quote or some sort of saying that the guest has lived by. So what do you got for us, and what does that mean for you?
One of my favorite quotes is, "Your approval or disapproval means nothing to me." And that's by Jesus in John 5:42. I'm not a Christian or religious by any means, but I read the whole Bible just because, whatever, a lot of people read, it's a pretty popular book. So I figured I'd read it. And that quote stuck out to me.
And so what does that quote mean to you? How is that applied to your journey?
Well, it's like you don't want to get so caught up in people's criticism or people trying to discourage you or hold you back or what they think in general. But at the same time, you don't want to be so caught up in their approval, and you definitely don't, seeking validation or anything like that. You want to be able to be firm in your own convictions and have enough confidence to none of that is necessary for you to be happy.
So when you're on the cover of magazines and when your face is like, when you are your brand, I'm sure that you get a lot of criticism along that journey. I think anytime someone's trying to step up and do something that they really want to do, that the critics appear. Can you talk us through a little bit about what it was like? Like, how'd you get started? What got you into this industry and to where you are now today?
Oh, yeah. Well, I started working out. Okay, flashback. I'm from South Side of Chicago, and I got into a lot of trouble, in high school or whatever, and I got sent away to military school.
Okay.
And in military school, I was like the only poor kid there, and I was the only black kid there. I was there some sort of affirmative action thing or some of that, some sort of scholarship, right? Mm-hmm. And being the only black kid in the school came with his own unique set of challenges, and I used to get picked on a little bit and beat up. And then, I decided to start working out, and, I wasn't making a lot of progress. And then one summer I went home, and this guy, he's a friend of the family. He's a voted #1 trainer in Chicago. He's actually Steve Harvey's trainer now. I know Steve was on your show not long ago. Yeah, he's actually Steve Harvey's trainer now. His name's Aaron Muhammad. Yeah, and he kind of took me under his wing and showed me how to work out. And then I made a lot of progress that summer. Like 2-3 months. And then I went back to school, and I was like, all right, anybody mess with me, it's gonna be a problem. I'm knocking people out. But then I noticed that nobody messed with me. Right. In fact, those kids were asking me for advice. So I kind of started training these kids, right? And then I just saw how it changed their personality. I saw it change my personality, more confidence. I think when you start to accomplish a fitness goal, you have to set all these little goals. You have to make all these little promises to yourself every day. You're going to work out today. You're going to eat right. You're going to get enough sleep. And once you start setting these little goals and then accomplishing them, you start to believe in yourself more, right? Because you're doing what you say you're going to do. You start it builds confidence. And I just wanted to share that with so many more people. So I became a trainer while I was in college after that, and I've been a trainer ever since. It's like 15 years. And it was just a natural progression to I got in a good shape, and then I got scouted by a modeling agency, and then I was promoting other people's stuff. But then I thought, man, why? If I can promote their stuff, why can't I do my own thing and promote that?
Right.
And that's kind of how Bro Laboratory started.
Wow. And so on this journey, when you had that aha moment and you started transitioning into your own kind of business with Bro Laboratories, what kind of failures, what kind of challenges did you have along that? I'm sure whenever you're transitioning from selling someone else's to your own, you have all kinds of challenges.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's a different skill set, just promoting a brand and actually like running the day-to-day operations. We got employees now, and just dealing with manufacturers and distribution. There's so many challenges, making payroll, that it's a totally different skill set than just, some guy posing with the protein on Instagram, right? It's like, and not to knock them, right? That's a valid business model. It's totally different. It's totally, and it was a lot big learning curves and stuff, because even though I went to college, our business is almost 100% online. We're in a few stores here in New York just because my friends own those stores, but it's mostly an online business. And they didn't really teach that in school. They didn't teach, online marketing, email marketing. They don't teach you Facebook marketing, conversion pixels. That shit didn't even exist when I was in school. I don't know if I can curse on here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you're emphasizing a point, all right, every now and then, that's fine.
Okay, I apologize to the listeners.
Yeah. Okay. And so one thing about I'm getting about you is you're extremely consistent. And you're able to show up and keep pushing forward because you do fitness training, personal training, you work on yourself, and that's extreme consistency. You're able to show up and you say you're going to do what you're going to do, and in your own business as well, not having any experience doing this and being able to dive in and make it happen. What do you do to stay consistent? Like, what is your do you write down your goals and just do them? Like, what do you do to stay consistent and along the journey?
That's an excellent question, man. I'm glad you asked that. Consistency. I mean, this. Like, consistency is the key. It's the key to success. I almost believe that if you just don't quit for long enough, you're going to learn enough along that way to make progress. Almost, within reason, right? As long as you don't quit, you should be able to get there. For me, I think working out kind of taught me that, because if you lift weights today, right, the effect it has on your body is almost negligible, right? Or even in a week, right? Like if you're lifting weights for a week, like you probably won't notice anything, but what it is those weeks and weeks compound, and then over the course of a few months, then it's a noticeable difference. And I think it's like that in everything. I'm sure when you started your podcast, the first few episodes didn't get a lot of traction, or
they're horrible.
Yeah, exactly. But you keep going, and then it just starts to snowball. I think fitness taught me that, and I just apply that to everything. You got to just keep showing up.
I think it is so simple, and everyone's heard it. It's not surprising to anyone listening to this show right now that consistency is a key attribute to success, but it's just too simple that we often overlook it. And you're absolutely right. When I first started this show, I mean, I really was struggling to do the whole thing, and I spent so much time doing it, and it still wasn't the best that it could be. But I think this is going to be close to 350 episodes now. And
congratulations, man.
Thanks. And there's something to be said about that if you just stick with it. I think we live in such a society where, especially today, like in 2016, 2017, where we are looking for instant gratification with whatever we want to do, where if it doesn't work, then if we buy a book or buy a course or invest in a coach or whatever it is, and we try something and we're not instantly successful, then we move on to the next thing. And then it's like this vicious cycle of trying to fulfill yourself within such a short amount of time, when I think anything worth having and achieving takes a lot of pain and time and a lot of failure before you actually see some success.
Yeah, man. Like here's the thing, man, Andrew. Most people are just soft. That's the problem. They're just soft. That beginning, that initial stages of anything, whether it's training, whether it's starting a business or starting a podcast or building a brand or whatever it is, it's painful.
Yeah.
It's painful initially. Like, you're not getting results, you're not seeing it, but you got to keep going, and it hurts, and you're learning, you're falling down, and it's painful. But most people are just like, they're so soft, they're not willing to go through that pain to get to get their goal. It's like you don't have kids, do you, Andrew?
I don't.
Yeah, me neither. Knock on wood. Right.
Well, nothing wrong with kids, but it definitely is another responsibility.
Yeah.
It's an important responsibility, but go ahead.
You ever seen a kid learning to walk? Right, like he falls down. He doesn't give up because he fell down the first time. He keeps getting up, and his parents are encouraging him, and he keeps trying. He keeps falling down.
He just laughs.
Yeah,
when he falls.
He just laughs, and he keeps getting up, and then eventually, he learns to put one foot in front of the other. It takes a long time, but he gets it. And he didn't quit. He went through that beginner stage of incompetency, and he got to the point where he can walk. And that's why the majority of us are walking around on two legs, because they didn't give up. But we lose that as we get older, because that encouragement you got from your parents or your loved ones at that point, when you're starting something new, they see all that failure. They say, "Hey, why don't you give up? Why don't you go get a regular job? Why don't you go do this? Why don't you quit?" They're not encouraging you anymore, right? And you gotta be strong enough as you become an adult to keep going without that encouragement, to keep going in spite of failure.
I think it's interesting because you see a lot of people, let's say in high school and in college and right after college, where they're on this great growth curve where there's a lot happening in their life. They're great in sports, their relationships they're thriving, they're moving forward in their life, and they're making a lot of progress. And then they get the job, and then there's something that happens, I believe, to someone when they don't have that support system around them, where they start to stagnate, and then just years and years and years go by, and it's very easy to fall into the pleasures of modern society, of alcohol, drugs, and porn, whatever it is for someone. TV. There's so many good ones out there. I mean, they're all good, and it's just a matter of that discipline. So, how do you handle pain when you're trying something? Like, how do you think most people handle pain, and how are you handling pain? Like, what kind of conversation are you having with yourself? What kind of actions are you taking when you are not succeeding? Like, even today, I'm sure you're successful, but you're still making mistakes and having challenges.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing. It's like it doesn't stop.
It only stops when you stop trying to grow.
Yeah.
When you stop growing, like if you say, "Okay, I'm cool at this level," then it's like, all right, fine. But I was doing I put on a mastermind like a year ago. One of the guys who came in, he said, "Every level there's a new devil."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, yeah. I mean, I'm sure I found out that's something that people say all the time, but that was the first time I heard it, and it resonated with me.
Yeah.
But for me, man, okay, so listen, almost everybody walking around, all these, pedestrians, civilians, they're soft, man. They're just soft. They'll quit everything. They're all just following the easiest path, and it's not 100% their fault, right? Because the smartest people alive spend their time, trying to distract them, like, right, working at Facebook or Google, or like these people are brilliant, right?
Right.
And they
like the marketers, everyone wants your attention. Everyone I mean, even right now, like I'm creating content, and I think it's very beneficial for people to listen to this content, but I'm still getting people's attention, but in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, we both do email marketing, right? We're trying to get their attention. It's like everybody's trying to. So for me, it's like when I'm going through one of these parts where I'm falling down, or I'm trying to learn something, or I just know that this is part of it. Like the failure is part of it. It's not something. You can't get to your goal. You can't stroll to your goal, right? There's no way you're going to be able to just walk into success. I know it's part of it. When there's a failure, when it's something, I don't even look at it as failure anymore. Like I just say, oh, that's like data. Right, that's data. We got that's data. We were working on something, me and my team, and they weren't having a lot of success yet. Just like a little bit of success here and there. And I was like, hey man, I don't want you to get down on like what looks like failure right now, because I'm not concerned about you guys being successful at this right now, or even next week. It's like a year from now. I want you to build the skill set. I want you to have the skill set where you're pros at this. I don't care about the success or failure of each individual task right now. I'm just concerned about you keep getting better, and building the skill, But I will say it's easy for me to say that because I'm really good at dealing with pain. I think that's one of my gifts. Like I can deal with more pain because I've had like a harsh upbringing. For example, when you said that, you gave the example of that kid who, did well in sports and succeeded all through life and just got kind of,
right.
Man, I almost feel sorry for them because the pain, if you can learn to withstand pain, you have a better chance of success because it's painful, like to move to start something new and deal with the failure, because it's inevitable, right? You have to go through, just like learning to walk. You have to fall down. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
But if you can learn to deal with it and embrace it, I think you'll be better off.
And so when you're setting a goal, like you're working on I'm sure you have a lot of big goals for this new year and broken down into quarters. Do you look at it like, okay, because there's a lot you can do. You have a big following. There's a lot you can do. And so you can only have so much things that you can do with the time you have. Do you look at each goal and say, like, am I willing to go through the pain that it's going to take to achieve this goal?
Yeah. I try. Yeah, that's a good question, man. You're so smart. Because that's exactly how I kind of do it. Like I think, it's a opportunity cost, right?
Yeah.
Because if I do this thing, I'm not doing something else, right? And if it's more intensive, it's going to demand a lot more of my like resources or even mental resources, right? I might say, okay, maybe that's not the right thing. So I try to pick which ones. I try to be strategic about it. What I can handle, and not only that is what my team can handle, because there's different levels of, everyone has different threshold. So I try to that's something new for me, having employees now, trying to navigate other people's tolerance and their threshold, what they can handle,
Right, because you want to do everything you can, but you'll go crazy. And so you have to understand that not everyone is you. But they all have their own skill sets too.
Exactly. Yeah.
You mentioned something that really caught my attention, or you're talking about your team and you're saying like, hey man, I'm not concerned about the little minute task of each day here. But what I am is concerned about is that where are we going to be a year from now? And if you continue to keep going and just learn from the data, which is what you called failure, just data, which is a great way to look at it, then where are you going to be a year from now if you actually kept going and you learned from your mistakes and you took the data and just used it to optimize, like take anything like fitness, dating, or if you're in a relationship, or obviously business, what we're talking about, but anything, even if it's like a hobby, like playing guitar or surfing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you just gotta get the reps. You gotta get the reps to get good at something like skill acquisition. That's what it requires. It requires repetitions. Kobe Bryant shot 1,000 shots every day, right? I don't think he was concerned about hitting every shot. It was just about like keep going, keep taking those shots to keep improving. It's about improving. Think long term. I think like you talked about instant gratification. I think that's another thing, is that you got to be thinking long term. Do you notice this? I notice there's a problem with like a lot of younger people. Maybe I'm just.
I think
it's
everyone.
Maybe it's everyone,
it's
man.
Just
but
everyone.
You got a long term focus. And what is very beneficial. Like I'm not worried about what's happening right now. I'm not worried about if I have to suffer right now. I'm worried about the long term, where I'm going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Yeah, we're not entitled to any outcome, but we are entitled to the effort that we put in. That is something that we can control, is each day being able to get up and do the work.
Yeah.
Which is a good book by Stephen Pressfield, Do the Work.
Do the work. I'll write that down.
Do the work. It's very short. Yeah, The War of Art we're really on this conversation as Stephen Pressfield's books. The War of Art is a great book. Turning Pro.
Yeah, it's a great book.
And Do the Work, which is a trilogy there. Also, too, I think adding into this is in order to handle that pain, you have to be. It's very simple, I don't think if you've read at least 10 personal development books, I don't think there's really anything new you're really going to hear. You're going to hear a lot of the same things, which means that's good. It means that's a good map. Well, is commitment. It is really. I don't think a lot of people, when they start the goal, that they're actually committed, like a level 10 commitment, because I don't know anyone, I don't know anyone, or even myself, who's ever achieved anything great with a level 6 commitment. Like I'm level 6. I'm going in with a D score, and I'm going to try and go up against guys that are at a level 10. It's not going to happen.
I don't even think that's a real thing, like a level 6 commitment. Like I don't think that's a real thing. I think that's interest, right? Like I'm interested. Sounds interesting.
That's interest.
I'll put my foot in the water.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, man. Like when I think of commitment, man, I think like you can't be a level 6 pregnant, right? Like you're either fucking pregnant or you're not, right? Like, it's. Yeah, I'm interested. Or are you like, I'm committed? And you're absolutely right. It needs that firm, you gotta have that firm commitment that you're going to keep going no matter how hard it gets. But I think what holds people back, Andrew, is they don't expect it to be hard. And they're just shocked when it's difficult, or shocked that it's pain. And I would really like, if people got one thing from this, to expect it to be hard and to know that that's just part of it. You know, it's just part. You fall down, hey, that's part of it. Don't get upset about it. Don't freak out. Don't spaz. Hey, man, this is part of it. It's part of it. You can't get around it.
To expect the
difficulties. Yeah, difficulties, pain, failure, right, along the way. Like that's part of it. I mean, it's no way around it. So if you go into it with that attitude, then I believe it may be easier for you to withstand, you know. But if you're going in thinking it's going to just be awesome, right? You see some guy on Instagram in a private jets with girls all around, hey, you do this shit, you know, and you do this and you'll be like me. And you might, like, he might give you a good system, but you know, he didn't, what he left out was you're going to have to go through that part. You know, you're going to have to go through that painful part. He left that out.
He left it out, yeah. Because imagine if he did say, like, hey, man, this is going to cause you so much pain. Like, you're going to lose relationship. Like it's just not going to.
Yeah, and 90% of you aren't going to even finish.
No one's going to go. Yeah. But if he had, I think some personal development training should always be associated with any business training. But I think what we're talking about here is it'd be like if I was going into, let's say, an MMA fight. I used to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I was gauging my success on whether or not I got punched or not, like, instead of just gauging my success on winning the fight. Because if you look at I can't say all, but I've been a big fan of MMA, and you know, I'll talk about Conor McGregor, for example. And so for those that don't know, he's one of probably the most popular UFC fighter right now, and he's world champ in 2 different divisions. But at the end of all of his fights, you can't see his face. He's bleeding all over his body, and you can't see his face anymore. But he's the champion. And so they both look all busted up. But he got hurt a lot, and he might actually win and still go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And so I think there's something to be said there is you're going to get busted up on the journey, but you can definitely still win and achieve the goal.
Exactly. Yeah. Andrew, do you think Conor goes in the fight thinking he's going to get a flawless victory?
Yeah,
right?
like not punched at all. And
of course not. And that's how we need to go into any fight, you know, that you have, any goal you set. That's a great analogy, man. I really like that. If you hear me say it,
you better quote Andrew Fairby, Knowledge from Men podcast. Yeah, you're gonna like brand it. It's gonna be like on t-shirts now. And the same thing with the relationships. It'd be like, as soon as you're in a relationship and there's challenges, do we, oh shit, pull the trigger? This is a bad relationship, bad partner. It's like all great relationships have gone through some of the nastiest fights.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's friendships, you know, romantic relationships, everything. There's nothing worth having comes easy. But I will say you should one thing, expect it. That's going to help you, but also be happy. It's like that.
Yeah.
Because that's going to separate you from everyone else, right? That's the moat around your castle.
Right.
The difficulty.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a huge point. I have one more analogy just because I'm an analogy guy. Imagine if we were going into battle, like a war, like we were Marines and we're going into wherever we're going into battle, and our commander was level 6 commitment.
Yeah.
Like, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
This guy, you know, like, and that's kind of what people are doing is they're leading their lives with a level 6 commitment. And then anything they touch is likely almost to fail because they're going into it with level 6 commitment. And it's like they're sprinkling like failure dust on on whatever they touch. And this isn't every guy, like, because you can change your commitment. Just it's a decision. It's not, I don't think it's you have to go into the woods and do some crazy spiritual thing. I think you can make a commitment right now that I want to be great at what I'm going to wake up and do today. Otherwise, why are you waking up and doing that thing?
Yeah, no, that's totally accurate. I definitely believe in that. One caveat, I will say it's okay to change your method, but not the goal.
Strategies.
Right? Like, yeah, you change your strategy as much. You might even want to keep trying to find different things that work, but never change the goal, right? I'm sure they had a plan B if D-Day didn't work, but I don't think they ever thought, hey, maybe we'll hang out with the Nazis. Maybe they won't be so bad, right? Like, I'm sure they still planned on winning the war no matter what.
Right.
So, yes,
that is important, is kind of the pivot.
You don't want to be, stupid about it and keep banging your head against a wall, right? But you do want to, you don't never want to give up on getting past the wall, right? Maybe you just have to find different routes, like if I'm sure you've been in a fight or something, a jiu-jitsu fight, and maybe you were trying to do one move and it wasn't working, and maybe you tried something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of like Bruce Lee's whole thing about be like water, where if you find an obstacle, it's you can just keep moving. Like the goal is not to just stop and let the obstacle hit you, but you're just going to keep flowing. Like you're constantly moving. Okay, you accept and move on. We're talking about like skill sets here and being great. And have you read Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers? The 10.
Okay. I'm a big fan of Malcolm. I have an autograph version of. I have an autograph of David and Goliath.
Oh man, what I would have loved to do is to get him and Robert Greene just to talk to both of them at the same time would be like, that's a goal of mine.
I'm a big fan of both of those, especially
I'm a big fan. I've interviewed Robert before, but coming back to this, Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers 10,000 hour rule, which I think is it's about 6 to 10 years, depending on how much time you're putting into that craft. If you're 10,000 hours for all those listening is how long Malcolm Gladwell says it takes to become a master at a skill. And so when you really think like that, 6 to 10 years, and then so there's really only so many things you can really be great at in your life.
Yeah. There's only a few things, man. You're not going to be in the NBA and have and be the best guitarist and businessman. And you probably won't be the best player and businessman unless your business is teaching guys the dating business, right? Like or just you got to pick your battles, man.
Yeah, and so this is. This whole conversation here, I don't know if people actually have decided what it is that they want to be great at, and really going into this like what, I'm going to be the best salesman in the world, or I am going to be the best teacher in the world, and I'm committed to that. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in the time, and I'm going to be one of the best. Like, have you seen the movie Bleed for this?
No,
you should check it out.
So bad.
Come on.
I'll tell you why in a minute. I haven't seen it. It's open loop. It's open loop. What I did there. It's open loop.
Oh wow, right. Just like a comedian, open loops. Okay, we'll swing it back in. But yeah, so in Bleed for this. Oh, dude, you ruined my concentration.
No, I'm sorry. I want to see it though. Please continue.
So I was talking about what you can be. You can only pick a few things to be great at, and he says. So Bleed for this, and then there's also the other one where he's playing drums. God damn.
Drum for this.
No. It is not Drum for this, but I'm going to have to pull this up real quick because inside the movie, what's this guy's name? Inside the movie that I'm about to talk about, he said he goes up to his girlfriend and he says, I want to be one of the greats. Miles Teller's the actor, and I'm going to pull it up. Whiplash. You got to see Whiplash and Bleed for this. They're like the same kind of movie about going through pain, and they're both trying to become like the great. They're trying to become masters at their skill set. And in Whiplash, for all those listening, you should go watch Whiplash. You should figure out how to get it, and then watch Bleed for this. It's all relative to this conversation we're having. But he looks at his girlfriend, and it just hit me so hard. He looks at him, and he breaks up with his girlfriend. He's like, I want to be one of the greats, and I think you're taking up too much of my time. And I'm not encouraging guys to break up with their girlfriend, but I'm encouraging guys to select something that they want to be great at. And then he's making sacrifices to become great at it. And he goes through this, just the way it's filmed, like you get to feel the pain, you get to feel the journey, you can feel the suffering inside of him, but you get to see how bad he wants it. And that's what I love, is just seeing someone go into the arena and just see that face of like hunger, like I want this. And so we got to select what we want to be great at. Otherwise, how are we ever going to be? We're like randomly trying to get great at something. It's just not going to happen.
Well, most people aren't, man. Like, I mean, that's what it takes to be elite, right? Like, if you want to be elite, the reason I haven't seen it, like I was saying that, because I don't remember the last movie I saw. I don't remember the last TV show I watched. I love sports. I'm one of those guys. Yeah. I might have watched 4 football games. I mean, full games.
I didn't even know who was in the Super Bowl until until my friend invited me to a party. I didn't even know who was in the Super Bowl. And don't get me wrong, I think football is amazing.
Oh yeah,
it's just how busy I am. But
and this is not admirable, right? Like I'm not the best
a good role model. What are you doing on the show here?
No, listen. I'm telling you, this is real shit. I'm this is real, man. I'm not that good. I wish I was a better friend to my friends.
Yeah.
I wish I was a better son to my mother. I mean, I take care of her. I make sure she doesn't need anything, but I don't call. I'm not attentive. I barely respond. I have over 100 missed texts on this phone, and it's not just me being a jerk, but this is the relentless pursuit of being elite. And when you asked, what we talked about opportunity cost.
Yeah.
To be elite, like if you just want to be good, that's okay. I have a theory that it only takes 1,000 hours to be, decent at something. That's a theory. I don't have no data that 1,000 hours to be, good. 100 to be. Oh yeah, he doesn't suck. He doesn't suck, right? Like if you play guitar for an hour a day for 3 months, you won't suck. You won't be good, but
I suck, and I did that.
Yeah. Okay. No, you will stop. But it's to be elite, man. To seriously. I'm telling you, man, you really have to have tunnel vision, man. And there's only so many hours a day. Every decision's got to be, like every decision you make has to be with the goal in mind. And, I'm bad at relationships. I'm bad at all types of relationships. And I've made that decision and I've made peace with that. That's what it takes. Now, some of these guys listening, you got to really decide if you really want that, right? Like when there was a point I thought I wanted to be a doctor, and I realized how long ago I had to go to school, and I said, yeah, I don't want it that bad. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't complain about that. Yeah. I don't get mad. I don't be like, hey, he's lucky, he can do it. We make excuses. No, I didn't want it bad enough. And that's fine. But I found something I did want bad enough, and every decision is filtered through that lens. Is this going to get me and my team closer to this goal? But to the detriment of almost everything else in my life. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I don't really believe in work-life balance. I don't think that's a real thing. Have you read Relentless by Tim Grover?
Yeah, Tim Grover. Yeah, I love the guy, the cleaner.
That might have to be that what he's talking about. I think that was the first book Okay. Here's the thing, Andrew. Most personal development books. I've read a lot too. Like I read 2 books a week for the last 10, 15 years, right? I took a speed reading class when I was younger. I read 600 words a minute. I read a lot of personal development books. And they all kind of just, I don't know, man. It all sounds kind of touchy-feely, soft, man, like some soft. I'm not going to say it, but you know what I mean. And that was one of the first ones that I was like, finally somebody, like I thought I was crazy until I read Relentless. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I might be crazy, but maybe crazy is what it takes, right? Because I'm from Chicago. Jordan's like one of my idols, and to find out that this is how, Jordan, Steve Jobs, you read about these people who are elite. That's what it takes, man. That's what it takes. No half stepping, none of that. You got to go all in, remember.
So for those listening, Relentless is a book written by Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade. Now I also believe LeBron James. He is their conditioning coach.
Yeah, I think he works with James a little bit. You know what I mean? But he really talks crap about James in the book.
Oh, okay. But he's worked, just saying the word Jordan alone, he's already got enough validation, but he's also worked with a lot of the modern, greats. And in that book, he breaks down what is so there's closer and then there's cleaner. What's the first one?
Man, I don't even remember the first one. There was cooler.
Yeah. So cooler's
that's just like a regular guy.
A regular guy who can get the job done when you tell him. The closer is the guy who is consistent at getting the job done. You can rely on him. But the cleaner is the guy who can get the job done like under extreme amounts of pressure. He can make it happen. Like he's the guy. Tom Brady is a cleaner. Mm-hmm. That's the difference. Tom Brady's a cleaner. He came in clutch and did the unthinkable in this last Super Bowl and literally did the unthinkable, and that is a cleaner. Or Kobe Bryant in his last game where he, basically a similar thing. They came back by 20 points. He scores in the last 2 minutes. That's a cleaner. And so reading that book, you get an idea of where you are. And if you are the guy who just gets the job done when he can and he puts in the effort, or the guy who can be consistent, or the guy who can be the cleaner. So Relentless is a good book. We're dropping a ton of books on this whole episode here. I want to ask you, Brandon, what would you say are the skill sets that you're focused on mastering right now?
Oh, right now it's weird because I feel as a personal trainer, I've got like my 10,000 hours, right? Like I'm 15 years deep at helping people accomplish their goals. So I really feel like a master. Like I feel like I'm one of the best ever. I know how that sounds when I say it, but I don't know another way to say it, right? So to help more people, like I've been the last few years just trying to master marketing. Even though I went to college for it, I don't want to talk about college, right? But I don't know what I got my money's worth from as far as that's concerned. But it was still beneficial, though. It was still beneficial for me. Okay. Like I grew up. Right. No, it really was. Like I was 17 when I started college. Yeah. I wasn't ready to go out and be a man on my own, right? I needed some time to develop. Yeah. But I say like just learning marketing, like in the modern era, like really becoming one of the best, like the guys you've had on your show, Ezra Firestone. I know he was on your show. He's somebody I look up to. He's got like that kind of that level of a marketer, because you can be the best at something, but if people don't know about it, you can't help them.
There's a lot of great talent out there in their respective fields who just weren't able to market themselves. There's great musicians who
you'll never
hear them, unfortunately. And so marketing is. Yeah, so marketing is one of them that you're saying. What else is on the table here?
And also just leadership, like first for a long time, this business, I was like a solopreneur, and then it was me and my buddy Brian. Mm-hmm. Now we have like employees, and that's just a different skill set, just learning how to just be a good boss. Like I've been buying books on it and just studying it, trying to be a good boss. Not only because it's the right thing to do, but it's best for the company, right? Like your people are your most important resource. Yeah. And if you can't retain employees, and if you can't go out and recruit A players, then you can't. It's like any team, right? If you can't recruit A players, you can't win the championship, right? LeBron, he's making a big mess because he feels like he doesn't have enough good players on his team to beat, or he'll switch teams for
he'll straight leave.
He'll just straight leave. So it's like recruiting A players and having them on your side. You got to be a good leader to that, right? Yeah, to do that. So I look at people like Phil Jackson. I look at, and just trying to be a great leader. Yeah, those are really important to me.
What I just got from you and you sharing that you want to develop your marketing and leadership skills is that you look at the greats who you said Ezra Firestone. You named these guys who were really at the top of their game, and then you named some of these other guys as for Steve Jobs and these big guys. So when you don't know what to do, you simply just look at who are the greats, who are the people who've already done it. I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel here and do all the data. They've already got the data. And I think that's where it's like, hey, I don't know what to do, therefore there's nothing I can do. But really, it's I don't know what to do. Who's done it? Who's already done this? And how can I learn from them, either for free or buying whatever they created?
Seriously, I'll spend, man. I don't know what I'll spend this whole year, but I'm pretty this first quarter, I'll spend like $20,000 on like education.
What does that look like? What does education look like?
I just came from a high level mastermind with some guys, like really successful guys, in business in California. Okay. I'm going to another one at the end of next month. I'll be in California for the Crash Traffic Conversion Summit. I'm buying more courses, and I'm buying courses for my team too.
Seminars, courses.
Yeah, books.
Books. Okay. And that's just a part.
Yeah, books, like I don't even have I was talking to Ryan Holiday. I think he was on your before. And we were saying like he doesn't even have a budget for it's many. Like he'll just buy it. Like, and I'm kind of that way too. Like just always reading, always studying.
I buy books like I'm at a candy store, a kid in a candy store. Like, this is only a fraction of what you see. But being able to buy the right book, I think, because you can buy endless amounts of books, but being able to buy the right book that is necessary for where you are.
Yeah, I'm not like what you don't want to become one of these guys who are just addicted to knowledge, right? Just to study.
Yeah.
You want to stuff that you can actually implement, like, so maybe like all these high level like masterminds and seminars, that might not be where everybody's at right now.
Right.
But I can go because I'm at a stage where I can implement that stuff that day, and it can make a difference. And I'm hiring coaches in certain aspects, like hiring coaches. All the best had coaches. Jordan had Tim Grover, right? And Phil Jackson,
right?
Yeah, man. I don't want to. I'm not going to figure it out all by myself.
Exactly.
Right? I'm gonna have somebody teach me, and then try to develop the skill set with a coach. You'll just do it way faster.
Absolutely,
faster.
Yeah. You could figure it out. You could, but it'll take you. You'll have to go on the 10,000 hour journey, and it's like you can reduce that significantly and get to where you need to be by working with people.
Andrew, did you have a teacher when you were trying to learn guitar?
I did not.
I knew that when you said it because you said you suck, right? Because
I tried to do it on my own. That's really interesting. Yeah.
I got it okay for a minute, but then when I got a coach, when I got a teacher, and I started seeing them every week, I felt like I wasted those other months. Honestly, it was like a waste. Cause it's just something about somebody who can correct. You can learn on your own. It's gonna take longer. I don't know, man. It depends on how much time. If you have more time or money, right?
Yeah.
But
that's
one of my
really
buddies
interesting.
said,
yeah. What's your buddy say?
You pay to get rich. James Swanwick, he said, he used that one of my seminars. He said, you got to pay to get rich. He just talks about how much he invests in himself.
Yeah.
And the kind of return he gets. And I feel the same way.
Yeah. It's like, imagine two guys trying to learn Brazilian jiu-jitsu and they don't know it. There's no instructor. They're just like watching the UFC, like, oh, what did he do there? Like trying to write things down versus just having a black belt break down specifically what you need to do and why you need to do it. And I think a lot of people are looking, like when they're trying to do something, they are looking at it as if they're trying to like watch how someone else does it and they're trying to do it themselves. But it's not the same when you invest with a master and the master teaches you exactly why this is why you put your hand here, your wrist here, all that stuff.
Yeah, so, if you're at level 6, do it on your own, right? Like I'm sure you weren't a level 10 guitar, right? I'm confident, right? It was just something, and that's cool to have like little. I have little shit that I mess around with, and I don't really care if I mastered or not. But the things I'm serious about, I don't mess around with. You know, like, and I urge all you guys, if you're serious about whatever your goal is, if you're serious, get a coach or a trainer, or like just invest in it, because you're not going to be elite without a coach. Like it's just not going to happen. Like Tom Brady has a quarterback coach. He has somebody cooking his food. He has a nutritionist at home. I read an article. Yeah, like everything is like laid out. He's not trying to figure it out on the fly, man. You gotta have a coach.
Yeah, you can't.
If you're serious.
If you're serious, you can't do it alone. This has been fantastic. Let's dive into the knowledge round. I'm just going to ask you a few more rapid fire questions here. So just kind of gut level responses. So Brandon, all right, you ready? Have you ever felt like you weren't the strong, grounded man that you know you're capable of becoming? Like there's something more inside of you, but you don't know how to get it out. Me too. Years ago, I was broke, sleeping on my brother's couch, and just got out of a serious breakup that left me on the floor for months. Now, I have a multiple 6-figure business. I'm in the best shape of my life, have an abundant dating life, and live on the beach here in San Diego. I want you to break through too and create the life that you want. And because people kept asking me so many questions, I've created this free video training series on becoming a strong, grounded man so that you can have more freedom, love, and connection in your life. I'll also teach you how to build real backbone to boost your masculinity as a man so that you can have more respect, power, and confidence personally and professionally. Simply go to kfmconfidence.com to get this training. Again, that's kfmconfidence.com. Also, I share the #1 conversation that your father never had with you about women. That will be a major wake-up call for 90% of you and will improve the quality of your relationships forever. Go to kfmconfidence.com to get this free training today. Welcome to the Knowledge Round, where the guests will be asked rapid-fire questions to give the audience invaluable pieces of wisdom to help transform their lives. Starting in 3, 2, 1, showtime. First question I have for you is, what advice would you give to someone who's feeling really lost or unsure of their purpose, sense of direction in life?
What I always tell people when they ask me what their purpose should be or how do they find what they should do is it's like a Venn diagram, right? You take what you're good at, what you love, and what people will pay you for, and where those three things intersect is where you want to put your focus, right? Because if it's just love and people will pay you for it, but you're not good at it, well, you can get good, right? So maybe you can go in and like develop a skill set, but if you're already good, it's better, right? Or if you have some sort of prowess in that regard, if you're good at it and people pay you for it, but you don't love it, then I don't know if that's going to be sustainable for you in long term, right? It's got to be all three legs of that stool.
All right. What do you think is man's biggest regret?
Man's?
Yeah.
Like the human race?
just men. Yeah.
Oh. When I first thought about the human race, man, I that's what I thought you meant. So I feel like answering
thinking about civilization or something.
Yeah, civilization.
No, man, just like, what do you think is most men's biggest regret? I asked just because recently I wrote an article titled "The 7 Biggest Regrets of Men," and I'm just wondering for you, just came to mind.
People, I believe, I don't know who said this. Matter of fact, never mind. But it's people regret what they don't do more than they regret what they do. Like it's not the failures. It's like it's not attempting. Because there was a time I wanted to be a professional musician. I thought most of my life I was going to do that, even though I love training.
Yeah.
And I got signed to Sony Records as a rapper and producer when I was 19, and I did it, but it didn't work out. I got dropped when they merged with BMG. But then I realized I didn't love it as much. I didn't retain the love to keep going. But I don't have no regrets about that, right? Like I went all out.
You tried.
And I got, and I'm like, all right, cool, and I can move on. Like I know what the answer is. I don't think I'd have been happy in that world, but I have no regrets about it. But some people are going to they're going to regret. Most people are like going to regret trying stuff, or following a certain path because they were too soft or they were too scared to do it.
I think that is a key point, is to know that you tried, especially as men. Like we want to know that that feeling of, an example I think all men can relate to is when you see an attractive woman, you really liked her and you walked right by her, you didn't do anything, and that can be an example in anything, whether you're to travel to California or New York or to build a business or quit your job or to ask her out, whatever it is. I think we just want to know that we tried. We want to know that we have what it takes to try. Not even just win all the time, but just, hey, I tried. I went in the arena. I swung the sword. I tried. And I think if you try at a level 10 commitment, then maybe you can make it happen.
Exactly. We know who lost the Super Bowl, right? But we know who lost, but at least they were there, right? I don't know who was in the stands. You feel me? Like it's like it's better to try and fail than to just sit around and wonder and wish that you did things different. Yeah.
What do you think is holding most men back today?
Oh, just most men. This is not in humans in general are just soft. It's not even just dealing with pain or failure. It's also they can't stand being bored. Like you got to, like, I think dealing with, people don't talk about this a lot, but to skill acquisition or doing anything, there's a lot of boredom involved in that. Like editing this podcast and all that stuff. Is that fun? Like editing it and all that, going back and forth, booking guests. Like that's boring, but it's required, right? Like dealing with that. Most people can't deal with that. They need that instant gratification, like you talked to before. The next time, not exciting, and they chase excitement's like a drug. Yeah, like literally, it affects your brain. Yeah,
absolutely. I also to the plateau where like you are doing it, but you're not seeing results. Which like you are consistent, you are reading the books, and you're doing everything, but you're stuck in this sort of you're not really failing, but you're not really growing. You feel like you're really just sitting still. And the plateau, I view the plateau like you're driving through fog, where you're in the fog and you can't really see what's going on. You're not sure if you're going to just turn around and give up and go back. But if you just keep going, eventually the fog is gone. And then you've gotten through the plateau.
You got to keep going through the plateau, man. A lot of people give up there, but it takes a certain kind of strength. And most people are just too soft to do that, I think.
Too soft. Yeah. So, yeah. Imagine now you had 60 seconds with 20-year-old Brandon. So knowing what Brandon knows now today, and if you can think personally, professionally, financially, and you had 60 seconds to sit down with him, what would you tell him to do? What would you tell him not to do?
Well, first of all, it wouldn't matter Cause like it wouldn't help. It wouldn't help. You know, like it wouldn't help. It just wouldn't help, man.
I'm glad you're honest with us. You're just straight up. Look,
it wouldn't help. It wouldn't help. But you know, I would tell him, man, that hey, bro, you gotta stop chasing these girls and so much, man. You got to chill out and like focus on where you want to be in 10 years now. You know, instead of just what you don't want to do is be older and have nothing to show for it but a bunch of funny stories. You know, you want to have some legit accomplishments, not just like notches on your bedpost or like numbers, and like who even cares about that? What does that even mean, right? Just these like meaningless experiences. What you want to do is build a foundation for the rest of your life and your family and your business. But that would have fell on deaf ear. I mean, he would have been like, yeah, I feel you. But when I was 20, I was just way too horny to take that kind of advice. It was like a problem. It was like a debilitating problem.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of men can relate. You're not alone on that one. What would you say now is your philosophy on success? If you had to sum it up and give a few last words here, what would that be?
Kind of the theme of this whole thing is it's not a lot of people tell you to think about the goal, think about your end goal, think about and that's useful, but I think about the struggle and embrace it. And I think that's the difference. That's why I'm able to tolerate more pain, because I seek it. It's like I need to fail more to get there, like to get all these failures out the way, right? I need to get, like the more you do something, the better you get better faster, right? Well, it's like that baby. He's not necessarily learning to walk. He's learning how not to fall down. Does that make sense? That's really what's happening. He's learning how to stand up without falling. And that we all did that. That's the same process I believe in every area of life. You're going to keep making mistakes and just keep making them and just keep finding out what not to do until you find what works, and then you keep going. So I look to fail almost. Like, I don't mean it like that. I'm going to get these failures out the way because there's no way around it. You cannot succeed without going through it, the pain and the failure. And I urge all you guys to just like toughen up and start dealing with pain. Like I do stuff like I'll take cold showers just cause.
I do too. I've been doing that it was hard this morning. It was cold here in San Diego, but I've been doing that for over 2 years now is a ice cold shower in the morning. And nice. It's hard. It's been hard over this winter, but I think you're on the East Coast. What part of the East Coast are you in? Are you in New York?
We're in Manhattan, man.
Oh, you're in New York. Okay. So it's cold. It's cold in New York. All right.
Yeah. Just dealing with the pain.
Yeah.
But getting better at it, right? You can deal with the pain without, crying and complaining and like with a straight face and just like, this is part of it, this is part of it. It's part of it because it is. And if you accept that, I think you'll be better off. I think the journey will be not necessarily easier, but easier for you to maintain it.
Yeah. Have that stronger awareness. Really good. And so now what's exciting you today? Like, what are you looking forward to now moving forward?
Oh, yeah, we just got some huge goals for 2017, and I'm just real excited about going after them, man. Like getting after them, like the goals keep me up, man. The goals keep me up. I have, other people in the space who they're doing really well, and I'm kind of competing with them. I like to not in a bad way. I don't want them to fail. Like I want them to do better, to just keep setting that bar. Right. So I saw. I took my mom to see Lionel Richie in Vegas for her birthday. She likes Lionel Richie a lot, and he said, man, you don't get to the top by being. Well, first of all, he was the man. Like he wrote so many like hit records and like for other people, wrote songs. He said you get to the top by having people to spar with, right? So he was talking about how like he said that Prince died and Michael Jackson, because those are he told like a story about how they would play their new record for each other and they were trying to outdo each other all the time, and it made them better, and I'm excited to compete with those guys.
No, I like that. I like that mentality. It raises your game. Yeah. And so, wow, what a fantastic episode we've had here, diving into greatness, the journey, pain, and staying consistent on that journey so that you can achieve your goals, and really just diving into, all of your success insights. So what would be the best place for the audience to reach you at and follow up with your journey?
Oh yeah, man. You guys, we're reworking the website, BrandonCarter.com. Like we just changed it to a new platform. So, it's not looking great right now, but you can go there and find, everything about me and everything's going on. Yeah, it's great. It's a work in progress.
So likely by the time this goes out, BrandonCarter.com. Also his YouTube channel, I think, is where you can find a lot of his good stuff. Yeah. Just go to YouTube, type in Brandon Carter. He's got a great channel there. And if you just put it in Google, it'll show you all his social media stuff too.
Yeah, you might not want to do that, at work, unless you want HR to show up,
Oh man, I don't even want to know what happens when you do that. But all right, Britt, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story and lessons here with my community. It's been an honor having you here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your work, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Thank you for listening to the Knowledge for Men podcast. Hundreds of interviews and millions of downloads later, we're continuing to build an international movement, and we're just getting started. So if you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and leave a helpful review in iTunes, because it really helps the podcast grow so we can impact even more men in the world who need this. Guys, this is all about living with purpose, where every day you only do things that matter to you. You wake up, live with purpose, and take massive action towards the life you want. And always remember, love the life you have while creating the life of your dreams. Go to kfmfree.com to get a surprise bonus I've made for my listeners. Again, that's kfmfree.com for something that's changed my life, and I'm offering it to you for free. Also, check out my Amazon best-selling books that I've written for you to help you crush life at kfmauthor.com. Again, that's kfmauthor.com to see all the books I've created to help you break through in life. This is your host, Andrew Farabee, founder of KnowledgeForMen.com, and I'll see you in the next episode.